Hello, paratroopers of the 173rd Airborne Brigade. I'm Sergeant Poos, and today I'm in Spain for the training exercise Swift Response 2023. So we're currently building the range, which consists of digging a trench and then filling in sandbags for building bunkers and other apparatus. Alright guys, so today we are filling sandbags, so there's a bit of a system to it. Go over here, one guy who's gonna bring the sandbags over here, the team that's gonna tie the sandbag, and then we got one guy who then brings the sandbag, drops it off over here. So, as you can see, we're doing stacks of 5, and so when he comes over here, these are facing this way, they're counted. These are not. These are to be stacked here, handing me off. So this is my job right here. I'm the one making the stacks. And so to differentiate between those who are counted and those need to be stacked, that's our methodology. Obviously over here we got the guys filling the sandbags. We got the engineers digging out the trench and giving us sand. All right, guys, we started stacking up the sandbags 10 high, 20 deep. So each row is 200 sandbags. We're gonna have 5 different rows over here, which gives us an easy count of 1,000 sandbags. So setting up like this saves a lot of space as opposed to doing it like this. It's also a lot easier to count. So something to consider is whenever you're stacking up sandbags, what you wanna do is have the butt end of the sandbag facing you, because it's a lot easier on the eyes to count. Okay, so this is what it looks like. There's so much wind that the dust blows into your eyes. You got soldiers pouring water in their eyes to get the sand out. So the sandbags that are full of sand, in more sand than rocks, I put them on the bottom so they're flat. The ones that are full of rocks and uneven, I put them on top. So this is just for counting. This is not at all for a defensive position, okay? Otherwise you wouldn't have these gaps in columns. You would have to interlap them for a defensive position. Here it's just for counting. Hey guys, so here I am with Sergeant Otis, and so tell me what your MOS is.
So my MOS is a 12 November. I'm a horizontal construction sergeant serving in the 173rd, 54th BEB Airborne.
Awesome. All right, so we never really interact with 12 Novembers all that much, and now these past few days, you have been crucial. My gosh. So what happened was we had to dig out trenches. No way were we going to execute that with e-tools and get it in that time frame. So can you tell us a bit more about like these past few days, like how things have been developing?
So when I was told I was coming to Spain, I was told I was taking a IHEMI, which stands for Improved High Mobility Engineer Excavator. It's essentially a front end bucket loader, tractor, and a backhoe. So what we can do with this is that we can essentially use it to build trenches, fighting positions. We can also use the front end bucket to excavate and build berms and or stockpiles.
So all of this, guys, is in preparation of the training exercise Swift Response 2023. And so the guys right now, they're probably getting rigged up. The winds are crazy high. We don't know if they're gonna be able to jump. But anyways, we are Advon, so advanced party, right? And getting everything staged up for our guys to get good training. right, guys, so that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned something. So I'm currently in Sainte-Mère-Église, Normandy in France for the 79th anniversary of the D-Day jump. So as you can see behind me, there's a paratrooper hanging from the church tower just as it happened in the Second World War. So I'm currently filming from the Airborne Museum here in Sainte-Mère-Église. I'll give you a few shots. Highly encourage you to come check it out.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world.
All right, guys, so here I am. I was looking at these weapons and ran into Private First Class Pilling, who has some interesting things to tell us about it.
So some interesting things about the M1 Garand. So during World War II, they actually had it where the M1 Garand was top fed through, and you'd have like the cartridges in your chest. So when you're loading the M1 Garand, you'd have to pull the bolt back, and then you'd have to put the cartridge in through the top. And the problem with the cartridge, though, is even though you'd put it in, the bolt would slam forward, and it would always slam into the soldier's thumbs, known as like the Garand thumbs. That way, always causing bleeding, and eventually they'd get calluses. But the difference between the M1 Garand is that it had a 30 caliber round, where the M1 carbine was always a magazine fed, which was always easier just to load it up through the top, and you always did the double smack, even though they tell you not to, and then you would cock the bolt. But the thing though with the ejection cartridge, it was always hit into the soldier's helmet, and it always would cause a nuisance. So that's a few fun facts about the World War II weapon systems.
All right, so there it is, and there's for the magazine.
Thank you.
Of course.